was my ability to launch from one very small initial engagement into a multi-year contract. I did that several times with large companies. I'll give you 3 examples. The first one, I live in Marin County in the Bay Area in San Francisco. And at the time, American Express had an insurance division that was based in my county where I was. And I went to one of these networking events with the local Chamber of Commerce. We'd met every Thursday afternoon, and we shared leads with each other. And I met a guy from American Express, and he ended up introducing me to the Vice President of Human Resources, who then, after I'd given a short presentation, said, look, I'd like you to come in and I'd like you to do a specific one-day event with the management team, which I did. Now, from that one-day event, there was no further expectation from that other than the fact that it went well. And I created a tremendous relationship with the head of human resources and other senior managers. Before I knew what had happened, I was invited to New York to create a team building program for American Express International, which I did. And then I found myself all over the place in Hong Kong, Japan, Singapore, Europe, working with the international executive teams of American Express, coaching their teams, coaching the executives and their teams. This contract went on for over 10 years. And it was, I hate the word, but I was like a virus. And I ended up having a second home in their headquarters in New York, even though I was still living here. And I would go into the building, and there were my friends, there was my family, and a 50-story building full of American Express people. And I enjoyed it so much because I felt part of this family that I'd created. That was one example. I needed 2 more. The other one was Goldman Sachs. I went to a conference in San Francisco, and I met the guy in charge of training and development for Goldman Sachs. I was very careful. This was a conference. I said, Ben, it's great to talk to you. Don't want to talk business now because this is a conference and this is not the right time and place. But how about when I'm next in New York, we meet up? Sure enough, we did. And then he asked me to do one specific event. Now, at that time, Goldman Sachs didn't have any leadership development. So I was asked to facilitate an offsite, a retreat for the senior management team for technology, HR, and finance, which is about half the company. And the guy in charge of the team was the guy who then became eventually the head of Goldman Sachs and moved on to become head of the stock exchange. A very demanding man, a very scary man as well. So I did this one retreat. They didn't know anything about leadership development at that time. This was new to them. They hadn't had any coaching. They hadn't had any training. One event. And he came up to me at the end and said, 8 out of 10. And I thought, well, that's okay. He said, no, 8 out of 10. That's very good. And someone told me that was 11 out of 10 because this guy was so ruthless and so his standards were so high. So that led on to another 6 years of work. I had a team of 6 coaches working with me that I put onto various projects. And again, I was like a virus. And again, I had all these friends who were the executives of Goldman Sachs. And then the final one was quite recently down in Silicon Valley. And it was a large global medical instrument company. Again, a friend of mine said, yes, from the East Coast, said, look, I was going to be doing this one-day retreat with the head of technology in the team. Sorry, I can't do it, but, or rather not sorry for you, I'd like you to do it instead of me, which I did. That one day turned into 3 or 4 years, non-stop work. And again, I was all over the place, marketing, legal division, head of, the general counsel, quality, and head of software, and so on and so forth. So those are just three examples, Patrick, of when I have just from a tiny little one day, from a one-day event, a one-off, if you like,